Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday morning real estate marketing show with RuthieRocks, Ruth Allbrand, and I am Marketing Max. Ruth surprised me with a quick live and did not do the countdown for me this morning, so I apologize for the delay. I was actually looking up. We have a very special guest today, kind of a different type of guest than we normally have on our show, which will be pretty entertaining, actually. I checked out some of his YouTube videos and pretty funny stuff and pretty entertaining stuff. But before we get to our special guest, Eben Rockmaker, Ruth, what is happening in Las Vegas?
Well, lots of things, lots of good things, actually. I'm happy to report. September's figures so far are ahead of last September by 393 sales.
Wow.
So that is really good. Yes, that's really good. Amazingly good. We've got about 6,800 available homes on the market. And yesterday we closed 159 transactions. We put 117 under contract, and we listed 193 homes. So all those numbers are good, very good. We have 1.8, as of today, we have 1.8 available months of inventory. And the Las Vegas is just doing really, really well. If you can look at the screen, the multiple listing service reports, this is back from 2009 and up to current today. And you can see that our inventory, it's hovering there, but it's good. Like I said, 1.8 months is good. And I was happy that Applied Analysis came out with their report for this time of the year. I think they come out with 2 a year. They came out with the one in April and then this one. And I just love the way they put their work together. And this shows the interest rates for 15-year mortgages and for 30-year mortgages. And this is really what is kickstarting our market so much is you can buy a home and especially if it's FHA, you put 3% down. A lot of the sellers are contributing to closing costs. And your payment is constant for the next 15 or 30 years.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing. So let me just show you something else here.
I was just talking to Brenda yesterday. Imagine if we had 100% financing right now. What kind of boom that would create in the real estate market at this point.
Yeah, the problem with that, of course, Max, is that the home prices would go up, which is this slide here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the new home prices, the median is 382, and the existing home, it doesn't show there, but it's around 335. So our prices have been holding pretty steady since the pandemic, which I'm happy about because I was worried they were going to go up more, but they're holding steady. So that's really good news for everybody. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up is a little bit about our economy. This was something that the Las Vegas Sun put out. Amazon's accepting applications for more than 1,000 full-time positions because unemployment is a issue with our hospitality industry. But at least there's other segments of the economy that are hiring, and that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good thing. So. And let's see what else is going on here. This again is from Applied Analysis, and they're supported by the realtors, which is wonderful, the Las Vegas realtors. So it says that September 01, we had an airline stimulus for $15 billion, and that was, of course, 9/11. And then the Great Recession, there was 2 stimulus packages for $1.5 trillion. And that was to shore up and buy out and keep the banks afloat, right? Yeah. And then now we have the COVID-19 crisis with the CARES Act, and that's $2.3 trillion. So, our tax dollars at work, right?
Our future tax dollars at work, Ruth.
Yeah, right. And Vegas, amid all this, Vegas still completed the stadium, which this is a great shot there of the stadium being completed. And then we completed the Circa. Let me get rid of that one there. Yeah, we completed the Circa. This is the before and after. So that's completed now. And the big one is going to be completed in 2021, and that's the resorts. Yeah, the world resorts. And they're going to hire 3,000 to 4,000 people. That's huge. That will be huge for us. Of course, now everything depends on, the convention traffic and if we get a vaccine. And this complete presentation by Applied Analysis goes pretty deep into that, but we don't have the time, and that's for another complete show as to what will happen. And they have charts, like if we get the vaccine, when, and then how fast our convention traffic will recover. And the interesting thing is, and Applied Analysis really does their research, so I believe everything that they say, because they don't, they don't puff. They tell the truth. Not that puffing is lying, but they just get straight down to it and put everything on a chart, and
sure.
they're very reliable. And it's just interesting to see how our industry is going to be impacted. But as I looked through all the charts, what I did recognize was that I think about May of 2021, things are going to start really ramping back up.
Mm-hmm.
more faster.
Sure.
It's going to kind of go slow, but then it's going to start getting back up to normal. So, I mean, I think that's great news, and we'll see. We'll see.
Conventions will come back projected right now, the summer of next year. So
yeah, yep. Yeah, and of course, then they're still doing some beautification on the strip. 29 palm trees being relocated, and so they're making it more attractive.
Right.
And this is a great time to do it because there's not a lot of traffic.
Exactly right. Now's the time to do it. Hopefully, they got all the projects they wanted to get done. And
then lastly, I want to just talk about the underground people mover. And it's ready to expand. And this is and all these things, for those of you who are in RuthieRocks group, all these slides I will put in the group, and you'll be able to download them and upload them to your respective business pages and send them out to people who, will be interested in this information. So that's kind of it. One other thing, this is the home builder. It's jumping back to the pre-coronavirus pandemic high, and the home builders jumped 14% to 72, 14 points to 72 in July, and that was according to Wells Fargo Housing Market Index, and that is exactly where it was in March before the pandemic. Which is really cool. Anything above 50 is considered positive sentiment, and the index had plummeted to 30, so it just more than doubled. So people are still buying homes, and the home market is around 18% of our economy. So that's the good news, the real good news, that we're still thriving in that department. So that's what's going on in Las Vegas today. I was so happy to see that Applied Analysis had done their presentation. Normally they do it live in person, and hundreds of people show up, but I think they'll probably do a webinar, and then I'll capture more details for everybody.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy, a friend actually sell his house for, I think, in the mid 400s, and with the amenities that he had in his house and his neighborhood, I mean, literally they listed it on Friday and it sold on Saturday. So if you price your home right now, it's still going like very quickly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The homes aren't staying on the market more than 20 days in the average. Yeah. So, and that's amid, people, I hear people complaining, oh, I can't make a living right now because you can't show houses, you can't do this. Well, somebody's doing it because, we're selling more than we did last September.
Right.
And I'd like to remind people of that, to really, give them some positive feedback that, yes, you can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited about our guest here.
Okay.
Let's get him.
Let's bring him on. Okay, here he comes. Here comes Eben. There he is.
Hey.
Are we saying your name right? Is it Eben or Eben?
Yes, it's Eben. E in front of Ben.
Right.
Yep.
And rock maker.
Yep.
That's a pretty interesting last name. Is that a screen name or is that actually your image last name?
It's actually my real last name.
Wow, fantastic. Yep. So Ruth kind of gave me some cryptic information about you, so I wanted to give you the space to introduce yourself on our show here.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then and follow it through with how long you've been in Vegas.
All right. So what I do is I'm a YouTuber, and my official thing is a professional U-luber. So I lube up cars, and I educate people on the importance of doing all different types of lubricants on vehicles.
Okay.
So no matter what type of vehicle, could be a car, truck, SUV, I educate people the importance of doing it, when to change the fluids, why to change it, and then I get even in the details on what comes in your car from the factory, and then how there's many things out there that are much better. So it's like putting McDonald's in your body or putting organic, non-GMO food in your body. One's way better than the other, but I also back it up with some science and education.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
I'm really interested in this, what you're going to have to say, and I have a ton of questions for you, too.
Mm-hmm.
So are you a Vegas native, or are you a transplant?
I am official from like Philly area, so Allentown, Easton, Bethlehem. It's called the Lehigh Valley. And I am out here since 11, so about 9 years, 2011. And I love it out here. I've done so many different careers and got a lot of experience. And now I can take all that and give it to my YouTube community and help millions of people all over the U.S., Canada, and then also some around the world. They wouldn't be able to go through me directly for some of the products that I promote, but they can still learn from my channel.
Sure, sure. So how long have you had the channel up?
I had the channel up for about I think we're coming up on about 2.5, but I've been serious with it for about 1.5 years. Very scientific about it, going with the science.
Yeah, with the right headlines and the capturing of the pictures and stuff like that. So
yep.
How's it been going since you've taken it seriously?
It's been going very well. It's you think certain content would do better than other things, and what I've learned is you have to sometimes take a couple steps back to go forward, which I've never been built like that mentally. I've always made things happen, kind of like Jack LaLanne. He goes, anything in life is possible if you make it happen, and I've always made everything happen, but it's just a weird feel to it, and then you kind of get used to what people want, and then you start to make changes to give them what they want. And so I've actually had to almost take steps backwards to go forward, which is a weird thing.
Right. So give us an example of that. Like,
yeah. So I saw there's a lot of technical data, and I got rid of some of the super technical stuff. I made it a little bit more silly, a little bit more kind of just less, just loaded with tons and tons of information, where that's where I can get carried away with. So I kind of got rid of some of that, and you could kind of say dumb it down a little bit, just make it more applicable amongst everyone across the U.S. and not just a science-based chemistry type of thing where, you can get into so many calculations and it's too much for the average person. So I make it real kind of basic and add a little bit of silliness in their little juvenile stuff, just, to make it very mainstream and understandable amongst the ages of, say, 20 to 30, that kind of little bit of slapstick humor with a little bit of, little juvenile element.
Right. Are you a novice magician too? Because one of the videos I saw of you was doing a card trick here.
Yeah. I do it as a hobby now. I used to do it full time, and I used to do it down on Fremont. I used to do close-up magic on Fremont Street, and I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot doing it, but it just wasn't what I was going to do and really commit to and all that. So I said, it was great learning experience to understand people, what they like, what they enjoy. And I've grown a lot from it. And I still love doing it for people. I kind of feel people out if they like that type of stuff. I always do magic for them to cheer them up, whether it's someone I'm helping with their car or just standing in the line at a coffee shop. Like here, I'm at Desert Wind Coffee Roasters. It's a pretty cool little coffee shop here on this side of town. So, you know, I do it basically, you know, I keep up with it and I'm always practicing, but it wasn't something I was going to say, this is going to be it that I'm going to do for a major career.
So do you work for another person's shop, or do you actually own the lube shop that you
Oh, yes. Yeah. So as far as the oil, it is a oil that came out back in the late to mid 60s. And it actually started by a fighter pilot out of the Minnesota National Air Guard. And he saw that they were using these synthetic lubricants in these jet engines.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, wow, you can start these motors at colder temperature. It flows better. It holds up better in heat. He goes, you know, we're going to put that in a car, and we're going to make cars last a lot longer and change the oil a lot less emissions, less smog, and all kinds of other things. So he started on this journey, and he really started getting deeper. His name's Al Amatuzio. He's the owner of AMSOIL, and that's the name of the oil that is the first in synthetic motor oil, first API, American Petroleum Institute certified. So it's like a lab in Texas where they would test this oil. And they are the first synthetic motor oil to pass the API motor oil, transmission fluid, differential fluid. And that's all back from basically 1972 to 1980. And then to this day, they're still increasing. They're getting bigger. But now it's becoming exponential because they've updated their software with all online type of stuff. So I'm going to go inside here for a second. It'll be less loud. This guy just started a motorcycle. Sorry about that. So basically, he was doing that for years to now they're really growing a lot with the online presence now.
Interesting. So you just started your channel to promote his oil.
Yep, I did it to promote that and to educate people, and I still offer other things. I have my own personalized coffee on there now, so I have my own coffee brand that someone can drink, the synthetic oil protection coffee. And
so take us a little step back, right? I mean, starting is always the hardest thing for a lot of people. You know, getting on video and doing that things. I mean, take us to the moment where you can conceive the idea and the show, and then tell us the experience of producing that, you know, kind of first few videos and how that all went.
All right, so I did my first. I'm going to go back out. The motorcycle left. So yeah, when I did my first video, it was kind of just for fun. It was with my Corvette, and basically I changed over on my Corvette, and I saw there was a lot of potential with it. So I tried it on my Corvette, saw a huge difference because this is my first real car, and I wasn't going to skimp on taking care of it. Is I believe in just taking care of your body the same way you take care of your car. So you do that. So I did that, and then I said, you know what? There's a lot of potential on YouTube to help a lot of people. So when I saw that, I said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and do it. And I started out. It was a little slow. But I said, you know what, though, this is really going to get huge down the road because so many people are going to YouTube, and there's such a inadequacy of people kind of exposing these secrets. So it's like a lot of people don't want to help anybody with their carbs, and they won't go to a mechanic to get fixed and stuff. Same way eating healthy for your body. A lot of doctors won't give you the secrets of like fasting and stuff like that, where if you just stop doing something, it'll heal on its own. And, the old saying, less is more. Well, that's kind of true with your body, but with a car, it's just using the right products and changing the fluids at the right time and understanding why. So I said I can do that easily and share that with people and almost kind of do it repetitiously again and again and again and again and again, and almost not change much, but just keep capturing more and more people and educating them. And when you give back, they they give back too. It's like a reciprocation. And I said, wow, there's a lot of potential here. And I started that. So it was more of seeing a future trend down the road is what I saw. And I knew it was going to work, and there was no question at all. Now it was just the repetition of doing the videos, which now I'm doing.
And how often do you post new videos?
I'm doing videos right now. I'm doing 3 videos a week. I'm doing like Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sunday and Wednesday are a morning upload at about 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning. And then Thursday is a Thursday night one where I have guests on. I have guest speakers. I have people from all over the city come on as a guest. And like you guys could always be a guest of mine on the channel. And we talk about all different things from, oh my God, from racing vehicles to an everyday commuter car to we even talk about just random questions, seasonal stuff, how to get your car or equipment prepared for the winter with fuel additives, stabilizer. There's so many different things that you can talk about with the cars. So we kind of go through all these different videos, and I created a whole playlist on Thursday night. And, it's a work in progress all the time. And the biggest thing is that, you do trending content where a lot of people are searching this content, and you kind of give them a new trend. That's a really good way to expand your YouTube channel.
And I haven't looked at your actual channel and subscriber. You're big enough now to do ads and things of that nature?
Yeah, I have ads. Yep.
Okay. How from a percentage standpoint, how much ad revenue versus generation from other revenues of your coffee and the promotion of the oil do you think YouTube brings to you?
Oh, yeah. The ad revenue is very small. It's about the YouTube ad revenues. Maybe it's got to be about 7% of what I actually make with the whole thing. So it's more about that specific product is what gives me a lot of the revenue. And then it's also, I help people personally too with, a couple of oil changes here and there. But usually if someone comes on my channel to do a video and they're in my video, I never charge them really $1 to show them how to do their oil change. So it's like the old saying, you can give a man a fish, or you can teach a man how to fish, and then he knows how to fish for a lifetime. So I kind of do that on my YouTube channel. So I'll take someone, someone that's owned cars for 30 years. There's a guy, Alan Ackerman. He's a magician here in town, and he's been driving cars his whole life. And at 60 some years old, he had his first oil change experience. He never got down on the ground and changed his own oil. I taught him exactly how to do it, and he was like, "Wow, it's really easy."
Yeah,
and most people
now.
Yeah, what was it?
It's literally one bolt now to change.
Yeah.
Except you change filter. Filter takes a little bit more finagling, but
yeah.
Purely just change the oil in your engine. It's literally just one bolt.
On most cars, it's one bolt. There's some weird ones where they have an oil cooler and stuff like that, but for the most part, they're all one bolt, like 96% of all cars. And then there's a couple of performance cars that are more than one, but that's very rare.
So I had a question, even.
Yeah.
Is your additive good for the diesel engines?
Yeah, so they make a direct fuel diesel additive that boosts the cetane level, which is like octane in gasoline. Then they have a lubricant that's also in that for the injectors and the valves and everything else, the upper cylinders that lubricates everything. And they have all that for the fuel additive. They have the motor oil, and they have the transmission fluid for the diesels. And they have all the products for everything in a diesel vehicle.
So I have friends that have RVs. So,
Yep.
and most of those have diesel engines. So this would be good for them as well, right?
Tremendously. It would change the gas mileage from just the motor oil on that type of vehicle anywhere from 3 to 5%. That's just doing a motor oil change. And then the fuel additive is up to 8%. So between an engine flush and the motor oil, you're going to be 5 to 12% just with the fuel additive in the motor oil. And then with all the fluids, the differential, the transmission, the coolant, you're going to be close to 8 to 22% better gas mileage. So I have an 18-wheeler that he's still running the oil. He's at like 60,000 miles on an oil change. He was at 19% better fuel mileage.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know, the beautiful thing, I mean, you picked a product like milk that we have to continue to use.
Right. Consumables.
Right.
So how often, so a couple questions. The fuel additive, is it just something that you put into the fuel tank as an additive?
Yeah.
So fill out the gas?
Yeah. So the fuel additive, there's one for the diesel, one for the gas. There's an upper cylinder lubricant that costs the price of a cup of coffee for a bottle. And that one you put in every single full tank of gas. That'll get you about a mile per gallon better. And then there's a gasoline additive that's a major cleanup one. And that one you put in only every 4,000 miles. And basically your fuel system will never really get corroded. You won't have any ethanol separation. You won't have moisture that rises to the top of the fuel. You have this moisture and calcium deposits as the moisture can separate and it can corrode the clunk. There's like a floater inside the fuel tank that it shows what your fuel level is, and that can break on like an older car, and that's because of the water and the moisture. So that helps with keeping that separation out, and the motor just runs a lot smoother too with an upper cylinder lubricant, because the oil oils the bottom part of the piston rings, but the upper part is only lubricated by the fuel. And most gasoline has no lubricant in it to lubricate those upper rings. So when you actually put that into a gas engine, your engine will run smoother, you'll have better compression. And then on a diesel engine, there's a much bigger benefit, which is engine braking. On an 18-wheeler, they rely heavily on engine braking. And you'll see if you drive on the highway, it says, no engine braking zone, 1 a.m. to whatever in a certain town, because they don't want to wake up the neighbors. But the engine braking is tremendous on an 18-wheeler. So the reason why it's better is because there's more suction and there's a better film between the rings. And that actually increases the engine braking, and the engine braking is smoother with the truck. And then they save their brakes a lot. So I mean, to stop a huge load, if you had, let's just say, 6% better engine braking, that 6% of heat is exponential in the brakes. So that 6% could make the brakes last 12 to 18% longer. So that could be a ton of money for an 18-wheeler. And the amazing thing is 18-wheelers don't even know about this stuff. And I put it up on my channel, and I get tons of people to this day. We're how many years after 1968? When Al Amatuzio did a lot of this stuff, and there's still, I have all over people, they go, it doesn't change the engine braking, it doesn't do anything. People think it doesn't do anything, but it 100% does, and I show it on all the videos. And I have an 18-wheeler video on a 2015 Peterbilt. It's called a 579, and it's a pack car MX-13 motor, and that motor's a very popular motor, and that's the one we showed all those results on.
Wow. And so, so I want you to, break the myth to all of us, right? The question that everybody asks, and everybody's like, how often do you need to change your oil?
All right, this is a great question. So we're going to start way back when my 59 Cadillac was born back in 1959. All oil was mineral oil, basically, that came from the factory on a car. So it's a straight weight. So the oil, it doesn't perform good in the cold. And 80% of the wear on your motor is during the cold start. So when your motor oil gets older, it thickens, and it gets even thicker when you cold start it. So you really damage that motor on an older car when you have that mineral oil. So mineral oil is refined from crude oil out of the ground, but it's not built. Synthetic oil is actually built, so it's not refined. It's just built. They take certain hydrocarbons out, and now there's no place for the carbon to attach to sludge up. So that's why synthetic oil lasts so much longer. But So to go back to your question, when you change it, you would change it at about 2,000 miles on that old classic car with straight weight oil. On a newer synthetic oil with good, like a synthetic blend, you would change it 3,000 to 5,000 miles. A full synthetic oil, you can go about 5,000 to 10,000 miles, but there's a catch. Depending on the car you have, your oil filter could be smaller, and it could be, say, half the size of this cup. And then one truck, the filter could be the size of this cup. So depending on your oil filter size, if you do run a full synthetic, you would actually want to still change that oil filter sooner. And a lot of manufacturers don't actually talk about changing the oil filter sooner than the motor oil. So most full synthetics are about half synthetic and half mineral oil. So a lot of people think full synthetic is 100% synthetic, and it's not. And it's actually a misconception. And Mobil 1 at one time used to be 100% synthetic, but they dialed it back for higher profitability. And now there's only very few 100% synthetic oils. There's AMSOIL, there's an Enos Japanese oil, and then there's a French oil, Motul. I believe that there's very few, but the AMSOIL one is the most available in the United States, and it's at the best price as a wholesale customer. So you can get the product shipped to you free, and you're getting the best of the best of the best oil for the same price as like a synthetic blend oil.
So what about newer cars, like
yeah,
2010 and above?
Yeah, newer cars are going to be about 5,000 to 10,000 miles. The Mercedes-Benz is a great car, and they actually recommend oil changes up to 10,000 miles. And you'll get a lot of mechanics that go, "Oh my God, I would never change the oil at 10,000 miles." And that's a good thing to never do with like Mobil 1. So the Mobil 1 oil, it burns off a lot quicker, and the oil thickens a lot faster. So the AMSOIL will thicken at about half the rate of the best Mobil 1. So at 10,000 miles, the oil of Mobil 1 will be, say, 30% thicker. So when you go to cold start your car, you have this delay in oil circulation because your filter is clogged and it has carbon deposits in it, and the oil doesn't flow right away. And that little eighth to a half of a second of no oil flow, you actually have wear on your pistons, your cams, and a lot of internals. And it's like taking sandpaper to the metal. And as you do that over 10 years, your engine loses compression, you lose efficiency, power, all different types of things. So when you run something like AMSOIL, at 10,000 miles, the oil, for instance, would be 11% thicker, where Mobil 1 would be 22% thicker. So it's a huge difference in fuel mileage as well. So not only does the oil last longer, not only do you have less wear in your motor, but the gas mileage you're going to get throughout that duration of 10,000 miles is going to be way better. And the actual difference of gas of that interval actually more than pays for the oil.
And so how do you just, you order the oil and then you just take it to any shop and they'll put it in for you? Because most times, when you do an oil change, they provide you with the oil.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can take it to anybody, and you can actually look up on the AMSOIL lookup guide. You could order the oil through my link. I would get the credit. I would be their servicing AMSOIL dealer. So if they have questions, I could always talk to them and help them. And then they can take it to anybody. But there are a bunch of places on the website that actually show who installs AMSOIL. But you could take it to any mechanic and they can put it in for you. You just pay them to put it in. And I always tell everyone, make sure you watch them put it in, because I've had quite a bit of people. They come back to me on a follow-up and there's another oil filter on there. And I go, "Hey, didn't you get the AMSOIL filter?" And they go, "Yeah, I got it." And I go, "Well, it's not on the car." And they go, "No way." And they go down underneath and look underneath their car, and they are just completely blown away that they really kept their oil and they kept their filter.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll keep it. The mechanics can keep it on you. But, as long as you watch them do it, and if you go to a garage that'll allow you to watch and like stand inside and watch, you don't really have a problem. But you'll get a lot of garages where they say you can't be near anything. We don't want you in here. And it's like if they're trying to hide something, most likely they're hiding something.
Fantastic. Well, so what's the future for your YouTube channel here? Are you, do you have a plan laid out on, number of subscribers, getting more sponsorship of some sort? What's the move up for you?
Yeah, the next level is going to be, it's really, there's no subscriber level I want to hit. I've watched the YouTuber Nick Nimmin. He's the guy that's really helped me with YouTube, and great guy, tremendous what he does on YouTube, Nick Nimmin. And it's not really about the number of people that watch. It's about doing what you love, doing what you enjoy doing. And I want to step up my giveaway. I want to give back to the subscribers and everyone that's been a part of my YouTube community and help them out more with their car. And the other thing I want to do is come out with a lot of other side products that make the oil change process a lot easier, like maybe like an oil pan, oil filter wrench, some basic tools that people can get for next to nothing, and it can make it so much faster and kind of streamline that and share that with them. So when it comes around that one time a year, when they change your oil with AMSOIL, you change it 1 year, 25,000 miles. They don't care, because it's like, hey, it's a 15-minute thing. 15 minutes once a year, I change my oil. Who cares? It's a piece of cake, and that's what I want to do, is just make it a piece of cake.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, as you were talking, I'm like, I've changed. The last time I changed my own oil was probably like 30 years ago in high school.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, there's probably not much demand for it, which is, there should be a shop that just rents lifts, to raise your car, so that if people want to kind of tinker around with their car a little bit, because that's the biggest problem for me, right? I would change my own oil, but I don't want to crank up my car with a
jack,
right?
Yeah.
I'd rather just drive into somewhere, have it lifted up, and then do that one screw, let it oil, and then take it down, and then do that. And I would do it myself. But I'm thinking, I don't know if there's any profitability in renting a lift out, if the demand, will even be there for that. So, but interesting stuff.
Yeah. And I love, sharing different things and collaborating. I'd love to collaborate with a lot of other people in the car industry and share it with them, and let them know that, hey, there's a lot more out there than just electric cars. Electric cars are great and they are the future. But also, too, you can take these old dinosaur cars and you can bring them up to, oh my God, probably a third of the emissions of when they came out. So if you think of my Cadillac back in 59 Cadillac, when I get done with cleaning it up, the engine, getting all the gaskets so there's no dripping and anything, I mean, the amount of oil burn on that car could be like, in 10,000 miles, I might burn a quart of oil. Back in 1959, that car would burn a quart of oil every 2,000 miles. Wow. So, I mean, if you think about that emissions into the atmosphere, because when it blows by those rings, that oil goes out the exhaust pipe, and everyone smelled an old classic car startup. It's horrible. It's terrible.
Right. So, how is collaboration? My last question for you: how have you collaborated with other YouTubers locally in town and stuff like that, or just remotely, doing video conference stuff like that? How's that?
It would be great to collab and do in person, and then also you can do a collab across the world where they shoot a video clip of using the products, talking about it, and then they send me their clips, and then we send them back and forth, so I can host their show or they could host my show and kind of let my subscribers get familiarized with them, and they can go, you know what, I like this guy, I want to go watch his stuff. Or, hey, it's not for me, I don't really care about body work, or I don't care about rock crawling. I could collaborate with a rock crawler. I could collaborate with a super high-end Ferrari guy that does work on Ferraris. So there's so many facets that I could collaborate with, and that's kind of what I'm excited to see in the future. Where I land with a lot of different collaborations and see, what other YouTubers really we can help each other and kind of grow together, because it's amazing. Once you get a couple really good collaborations, the channels can grow a lot because they show up in suggested videos on YouTube. So someone that watches their channel, they'll get suggested to me and I'll get suggested to them. And then you get into this like spider web of suggested videos. And before you know it, you're just exponentially expanding. And that's going to be fun to when that starts to work.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Yeah.
Ruth, any last questions or comments for Eben today?
Well, for a lot of my viewers, I'm sure they're very curious about how to grow their YouTube channel up to 14,000 viewers in such a short period of time. So maybe you and I can get together and you can give me some tips, and then I can put a show on, or you can help me. We'll do a YouTube show.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another side business for you.
Yeah, I share Nick Nimmin, and I just give it up. I give it up to everybody now because I used to not do Facebook and all these different things, and now that I'm on there, I just give everyone all the information right away. So like how I learned about YouTube and really to learn how to do it right is I learned from Nick Nimmin. And I give everyone Nick Nimmin's channel. Like I've had people message me, man, you do such a good job on YouTube. How did you get to that level? And I give them Nick Nimmin's channel. And I've watched that guy's YouTube channel. I probably watched, 200 hours of watching his videos. And I've learned 85% of what I know from his channel. And I just give people his channel right away.
So what's your channel name? I'm going to put it on the screen.
Synthetic Oil Protection YouTube channel.
Synthetic, if I could spell.
Yep.
T-H-E.
Yep. Synthetic Oil Protection. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put that on the screen here, and then I want to tell me. Well, that wasn't it. What happened there? There it is. Here it comes. Right? Did I do it right? Can you see it?
I don't see anything yet.
Okay, it's there.
He might not see it.
That's okay. I just see the guy with the headset. It's okay.
So Eben, what's Nick? How do you spell Nick's name?
Nick. I think it's the regular spelling of Nick, and then N-I-C-K, I think, and then Nimmin is N-I-M-M-I-N.
Yeah, that's it.
I think
that's it. Okay.
Yep.
Nimmin.
And
well, I'm going to look him up, and then I'll see what questions I have, and then you and I can collaborate, and then we will get some interest going for maybe I'll do a YouTube training.
Yeah,
that's what I'm all about, helping everybody do things the right way, the easiest way, and the least expensive.
Yeah, and that's the best thing you can do nowadays is good organic content. And when you have fun doing what you do, it'll always be a lot of fun, and that's what I learned from Nick. So I stopped kind of doing things that I thought would work well, and I just did what I really enjoy, and that's when I really started to grow on YouTube. And I think, if someone can say, hey, I love this with real estate, and I love showing the, popping the champagne and spraying someone with all the white foam, if that's what you like to do at the end of a transaction, show that on your YouTube channel. If you like to, just the signing part, show that. Show what you love the most. And if it really is what you love, people will resonate with it, and they're going to subscribe, and they're going to find value in it. And that's what I've learned from Nick. That's the number one golden.
Say that again.
The number one thing I've learned from Nick Nimmin is that if you do what you love the most and capture that on video, it's going to resonate with your audience the best. You'll gain the most subscribers, and people will they'll live through you, and they'll feel that connection. And that's when you really start to grow on YouTube, is when you do what you love.
Right. Yes.
Yep.
Authenticity.
Yep.
That's the deal.
Appreciate you coming on. And we got to do a follow-up show, Ruth.
Yes.
Yeah. See where your growth is, and to find out a little bit more about how to take good care of your car.
Yeah.
I like that. I have some classes coming up. I just want to get this in before we have to say goodbye. And people can sign up at be.vegas. You can sign up. We have Classroom or Zoom class coming up on Wednesday. It's ethics, and it's a really great class. It's called Show Me the Money, and it's all about ethics. And it's 2 to 5 on Wednesday. And we always have refreshments. So please go to be.vegas and sign up for the class. It's a great class. And even if you don't need your core classes, it's good for just general knowledge. And the more you learn, the more you earn.
That's right.
Big
All
time,
right,
yeah.
everybody. Even, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
We're having you on a guest again, and maybe possibly even some more collaboration. So everybody have a good week.
And happy anniversary.
Yes.
Yes.
Celebrating 13 years with my wife. That's why I got a jet now. But
I love you all. And thank you, Ethan, and thank you, Max. And we'll see you all again soon. And Max, I'll be talking to you this week.
Thanks, Max. Thanks, Ruth. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
See
you.
ya. Bye.